After my McLaren Senna burned down last December, I was very sad, and I thought I was never gonna get in another car again, which at the time seemed to be one of the worst things that's ever happened to me as far as car goes. It turned out to be one of the greatest experiences in my life. Why? Because it reignited my passion for living. More than just cars, just for living, for meeting new people, for becoming friends with all of those people out there that are awesome, that you can learn from. And that's what I want to do. Now, I want to get another car, kind of like my Senna, but I want to take my time and I really want to enjoy the process. I legitimately want to listen to my own words and what I preach and enjoy the process of finding a car, going and test driving all around the world the best cars ever made. And today, I start with something that started as a dream in high school, because when I was in high school, the Bugatti Veyron was announced. And the Bugatti Veyron was announced at $1.7 million and 1,001 horsepower. That meant the car with the biggest price tag, the car with the biggest engine, and the car with the most horsepower that's available as a production car. I remember that day in school when a friend brought the magazine and it had the blue Bugatti on it in the cover. And I said to myself, I'm never gonna be able to see one of these cars. And it's so epic that some people out there are gonna buy them and use them. And today, I get to start right here at the top, setting the bar all the way up. The Bugatti Veyron to me is one of the most important cars in car history because it's a gap car. Just like the McLaren F1, it took cars until 10 years ago to catch up with the McLaren F1, which was a 1995 car. It took forever for cars to catch up to the Bugatti Veyron that was born in 2006. Basically, the first production cars came out that year. Until about 3 years when the new hypercars came out, that's about the time that technology caught up with that car. There's only been two huge gap cars in my life, and that's been the McLaren F1, which I love, and it's worth $20 to $30 million depending on what spec you want, and the Bugatti Veyron. And the Bugatti Veyron is undervalued right now. And what I'm gonna do today is I'm gonna go check out one of the most important cars in the history of my lifetime, the Bugatti Veyron. And it's not just gonna be a Veyron. I don't even want to tell you guys more. I'm gonna get the boys to come out of our new office. Oh yeah, that's right, we got a new office and a new studio, so there's gonna be a lot more content coming in. I'm so excited. Let's get it. So where exactly are we gonna go see this Bugatti? We're gonna go check it out at Evan Paul's. Evan is a friend of mine. Evan and I met about 5-6 years ago in a car meet that he actually put together. I had no idea it was his car meet, anything about it. And by coincidence, we started talking. He's like, oh yeah, I'm actually throwing this. And ever since, we've clicked like a motherfucker. And I love Evan. He's always been great to me. I don't have anything bad to say about that dude. I mean, he's just a great guy. And what makes me extremely happy about that is when we met, the first thing he ever told me was, the one car I want is a Bugatti Veyron. And at the time, I didn't really understand why his fascination of the Bugatti Veyron. To me, it was just an overpriced car. But when I did Hyper 5, I had a chance to drive one, and I completely fell in love with it and understood the why. Why is a car so expensive and why it's worth it? Fast forward 6 years later to today, and Evan bought himself a Bugatti. And that to me, in our industry, the car world, that means you made it to the top. And that's where my dude is. So right now we're gonna go check out the Bugatti that Evan bought. What version of the Veyron, you may be wondering? Let's just get there for you to see it, because it's bananas. We're here. We're in Costa Mesa. So Costa Mesa is really close to Newport Beach. This is kind of like the hub for all the mega hypercars that you see online that are out of LA, really. They're not in the city. They're all here. So this is Evan Paul's dealership, for those of you who have never been here. And he's got that Bugatti right inside. Let's go check it out. Let's go say hi and check it out. Ladies and gentlemen, with all of the joy in the world, allow me to present you the Bugatti Veyron Grand Sport. If I would have told myself at 17 that I was gonna just come pick up my friend's car and it's a Bugatti and take it to lunch, I would have never believed that. That's so bonkers. But thanks to Evan, thank you, sir, I'm gonna be able to take this to lunch and tell you guys what I think, if I like it, and if this is really a contender for my next car, which so far it is. But let's go enjoy. That's first. That's not normal. That's not normal, dude. Wow.
Club sandwich is here. I'm ready for it. Dude, I already had a bite. I can't lie. I already did it in Spanish. It's delicious. Hang on, but I think that you guys should see the whole thing. It's so good. The butter on top of it makes it like excellent. I'll give it an 8 out of 10 in club sandwich world. You guys know what they're doing.
Oh my god. Okay, do it one more time. Oh, it like swallows earth and time and space. Holy shit. All right, now that we ate and we're ready for this, guys, I love and I'm obsessed with this car to a level that I can't even explain you. So whatever I'm going to say is going to be completely underwhelming to the experience of driving a Bugatti. So keep that in mind. So here, let's start with number one. The acceleration and the power that the car has. I know that's a cliche thing to say because the Senna was a fast car. The 918 was a really fast car. But this one, specifically this, having a 16-cylinder engine and 4 turbochargers, the amount of torque that it gives you, it's insane. And the actual craziest thing is how composed the car is. You can give this car to anybody and have him punch that accelerator, it's gonna go, man. It's gonna be perfect. Perfection. Oh my God, perfection. Another one of my favorite things in this car is just the noise. And the noise doesn't come courtesy of a V12 or a flat 6 or any of those regular engines that we hear. It comes thanks to those turbos. Those 4 turbos in here really give you an experience that no other car will. Even the Wyra, even the McLarens with the scoops can't match it. Why? Because it's got 4 turbos. So whenever you accelerate and let go of the gas, even if it's a little bit, you get your own dragon behind you breathing down your neck. And if that's not one of the sexiest noises I've ever heard, I don't know what is, honestly. Oh. And what can I tell you about the finishes and the detail and the quality of build of the car? It's freaking bananas, people. It's unreal how beautiful everything is, how simple everything is. This is the first time I'm getting to a Bugatti where I'm really using the radio, the AC and everything. I had no problem figuring out anything. So the UI is incredible here, but more than that, just clicking on every button, every single lever that you pull is just so well built, and it feels brand new, and especially for a car that's not new, that it's, I don't want to say this old, but like was made so long ago. I just can't believe the quality of build, and I'm guessing that's why you pay the $3 million brand new for this car. Holy shit. Oh, and the next point is how easy this thing is to drive. There's nothing else in the road that does what this does. And let me explain why. Because whenever you get a sports car, whenever you get into a car with a lot of horsepower, things get a little dicey. Whenever you're sitting in traffic, the car shakes, it starts to warm up, vibrates, first gear is not that smooth, and everything starts to get a little bit frustrating if you're just driving in the city. But this thing, oh no, it does not do that. This is like driving any other daily. I mean, we're in the middle of traffic right now. I'm not even thinking about it. You can literally drive like this if you wanted to. You can be that douche if you wanted to. Even if it's that simple to drive, you still gotta respect the fact that it's got so much horsepower and anyone can use it. Just anyone, period. And what can I tell you about the baller appeal in this car? Honestly, there's no other way of calling it. I don't even want to call it sex appeal. This is the car that everyone is looking at you like you're freaking Tom Cruise or you're Brad Pitt or any of the, or Leo DiCaprio, and everywhere you go, kids smile, women smile. It's just such a presence on the road. There's no way of explaining it other than experiencing it. I've never had so many people turn around to just look at the car and take pictures. We drove by a park and everyone pulled up their cell phones. It's incredible! Incredible! And of course, like everything, not everything is perfect. So how does this compare with a Senna, for example? And you're not gonna get that raw experience connected to the road, experience that you got with the Senna. It's completely different now. But the difference doesn't kill the car. It makes it, because there's no sacrifice here. They didn't go and shave off weight by reducing the amount of luxury that you get in the car. It's all there. And on top of that, you get 1,000 and some horsepower in the car to give you all the power that you'll ever need before you get from one light to the next stoplight. It's unreal. Let's get to some quirks, because this car definitely has them. For example, did you guys know that these are the air vents? Probably not, because I had no idea either until by accident I touched them. The second one, your rear view camera is right here in the mirror. So whenever you put the car in reverse, the mirror lights up a camera. Yeah, it's not the most visible thing. It's not like you have a big camera here, but it doesn't matter. You just cover it like this and you're covered. You can see pretty well out of it. And it's not the camera that I'm in love, but it's the execution of it, because they didn't have to add all the clunk to add it. That is perfect, perfect, perfect. And the third quirk is simple, the trunk. The trunk is so small, and on top of that, I think it heats up to I don't know how many degrees, so you literally can put a lot of things in there. But when you know that Bugatti owners have an average of 80-something cars, a yacht, a private plane, then you understand that other people can take their shit for them. So, good on you, Bugatti. What a machine. And another thing that people would consider a negative in this car is simple. It's so low to the ground. And even though you have a lift system and all of that good stuff in the car, it literally is like this off the ground. So if you hit anything, if there's a piece of tire, if there's anything on the road, and you hit it, it's gonna cause damage. And that damage is gonna translate into money. Lots and lots of money. So we're back at Evans now, and the drive was incredible. We had a great time, great launch. Sergio, Buddy experienced a Bugatti. Although Buddy had already done it, Sergio experienced it for the first time, and just seeing that smile on his face is when you realize what these cars are made of. Like, it's dreams, period. It's dreams. And they're very expensive dreams, by the way. Let me talk about that for a second, because the only really big negative of this car, and the reason why I didn't want to buy it for so long, was I could afford the car, like I can pay for it. But the service, the last service this car had was $140,000. For service, people. For service, $140,000. So the cost of running this car is really expensive. If something goes wrong with it, if you get a pebble on the road, if something happens like that unexpectedly, it can be anywhere between $10,000, $20,000 to $80,000. You never know. And that's why it's so hard to be able to afford one of these. But I'm finally in that position in my life where this is why I wanted to start here with these. Because this is the dream. This is what I want. And how would I rate it on the I want it scale? Because we're gonna have that now that I'm gonna look at cars to buying. Let's start with looks. I think it's timeless. Actually, the looks in here, I grade it easily with an 8 out of 10. The history. We're talking about history of the brand? No, we're talking about history of this car alone. This used to be Floyd Mayweather's car, which makes it one of the coolest things in the world, combined with the fact that it was the launch car for the Frankfurt Motor Show. So it's got a plaque that says Frankfurt, which is a huge deal in the car world because people like getting those cars from the show. So this is a baller spec, people. The history, I want to say 9 out of 10 because it doesn't have like a famous race car driver in it. That's the only thing that I'd say that's a negative. The company, we're talking about Bugatti, which is VW Group. Where do they stand? They stand at a 10 out of 10. And why? Because they're making the best cars. They are backed by the biggest company in the world, and their technology is beyond everything, and it's exquisite. So 10 out of 10, basically the company Bugatti, anyone that hears the name Bugatti understands is the best of the best. So I'm gonna give it 10 out of 10 there. Performance. This car is extremely fast. The engineering behind it is crazy. The suspension work is insane. The acceleration is brutal. The brakes are phenomenal. And the craziest thing is anyone can just achieve those numbers by pressing on the gas and just holding onto the steering wheel. It's not a scary car even though it's super fast. That gives it a 10 out of 10, and very few cars can actually do that. This is peak performance in the automotive world. And last but not least, and this is one of the most important ones when we're looking at supercars, the baller factor. The baller factor in this car gotta be not only a 10 out of 10, I want to say a 20 out of 10, but it's a 10 out of 10. The fact that everyone sees you, kids know what a Bugatti is. I mean, literally there was a little kid that pulled over next to us and goes, "Oh my God, that's a Bugatti, that is the fastest car in the world." He knows. It's other level. We went by a park and I finally felt what it is to be like a real celebrity. It was incredible. Baller factor 10 out of 10. Everyone knows what a Bugatti is. The fact that it's red on red, everything about it screams perfection. So the average scores, we got a 47 out of 50 points. So if you split that between 5 is 9.7?
9.4.
It's 9.4, so it gets a 9.4, but that's pretty accurate actually. And thank you everyone for watching the video. Thank you, Buddy. Thank you, Sergio, for helping me make this video. And also, thank you, Evan, for loaning me your beautiful, beautiful car and trusting me with it. And I know at some point you'll sell it to me.